unit of MMPM 007 IMC of the block 4, and the topic today is strategies for integrating the IMC elements. Well, I would like to invite you to a very different perspective today. All these 13 classes passed, it's kind of a uphill drive, and we went from one level to the other, and today we are all at the top, and now we are moving downhill. So you would probably be getting a eagle's eye view, we can say, and we go through all those elements that we have discussed earlier and understand how IMC attempts to integrate all these elements in order to get those objectives clear to the audience, to the desired audience, in order to make this audience take a very favorable action which benefits them while leaving us a share of profit. Okay, so let us quickly recall all the elements of the IMC. The traditional elements were those broadcast and print media like the TV and radio and the newspapers and magazines that were considered as a platform to reach the audience. The sales promotions were done in order to reach that and deliver that benefit to the customers in order to increase our revenue. And also the personal selling attempts who carried the messengers who carried the brand's value, the brand's worth, and the benefits from the brand to the customers. Also, we had public relations and publicity, which all worked in sync, and to include and add on the evolutionary developments that happened, and many more platforms joined this entire endeavor of conveying the right message to the right person at the right time. We had email marketing, we had social media, we had online advertising, we had content marketing, we have these SEOs working to increase the visibility. We have blogs which talk about the brand. We have forums, websites, mobile marketing as an easy way to reach the target audience. Also, we had paid search, AdWords, and also virtual communities and reputation marketing, all working together in order to carry that message to the target audience. Now, the shelf life of each of these elements is quite short, and new elements start evolving and replace the old ones, or work in sync with the existing ones, complementing each other. So today we are going to see how IMC works. And to remind you about what IMC is, it is the process of unifying all the mentioned, whatever elements I mentioned just now, all these elements of marketing communication for a consistent objective to fulfill the audience's relevance. The audience have a need, and our objectives must be relevant to the audience's needs. So it is the consumers or the target customers' relevance that we are creating and communicating to these customers about the intentions of the organization. Now, there are several concepts that we come across in the integration activities, and IMC integrates these elements, the brand and the companies, to educate, to engage, to entertain, which works as a reminder. In fact, they also empathize and result is that favorable action, and thereby forming a relation with the company, with the brand. Now the scenario changed from a command and control mindset strategy to a more collaborative and connect kind of a strategy by the marketing and the IMC in order to reach the customer. Okay, so let us see like these concepts, how they work and how they in turn help IMC do its job in a more effective manner. So however, these concepts that we are talking about should be a basis to understand the intentions and the working methodology of the IMC. So to make things easier and memorable, let us consider the 4 C's, 4 E's and the 4 S's, based on which the IMC attempts would turn to be successful. First, the 4 C's. The 4 C's stands for coherence, the consistency, the continuity, and the complementary nature of the messages created by IMC. Now, let us look at each of them one by one. When we talk about coherence, what is that we are trying to intend? Coherence basically means to remain logically connected and seamlessly fused. So here, what is it that needs to remain connected and seamless is the marketing messages that are created and conveyed through the IMC elements must bear coherence from conception to execution, to the execution stage, wherein they communicate a certain specific objective-based message, expecting certain results to the desired customer or desired audience. Now, the marketing message dispersed across channels must be unified, must be timely, and also easily understood. Only then it will have its impact. Now, how do we translate this into action? Now, the QR code in traditional media and the current media's hyperlinks connecting to the website or the home pages now need to be coherent in order to give the customer a smooth journey in his buying attempts. Also the second concept that we need to remember on which the IMC works is consistency. That is being in harmony with the other elements that are there. Now, all marketing communications reflect the core message in easy reception. It must be easily received by the consumer. The message must have an access to the customer, and it must be lucidly presented in order to help the consumer comprehend the message and relate to their personal needs, which the marketer or the company or brand intends to satisfy. Now, consistent IMC messages sent through any platform must fit into one frame of the key message, impacting brand recognition and also brand value creation. And that is when the attempt to communicate is successful. Now, the third aspect, concept that we are talking about is the continuity. Now, that is staying or remaining connected and also being contiguous over a period of time. Now, momentariness in IMC and also called as moment marketing and marketing communication is a big challenge in this dynamic business environment because there are multiple messages, and if we do not have this continuity of communicating with the target audience, there is every chance a competitor will take away the space that consumers have given to us. Even if you are a loyal customer, even if you show that loyalty, there is every chance that if they say out of sight is out of mind, right? So if we do not have that continuous visibility, there is every likelihood that we be replaced by somebody else. So the challenge basically posed to IMC is because of certain basic changes that have evolved in this environment. What happens nowadays is the attention deficiency of audience. The current generation's attention span is short. At the same time, it is divided. So the attention deficiency of audience further acts unfavorable if we do not have the continuity and the short life of the content. The content is very does have a very short shelf space or shelf life. So it needs to be replenished immediately. That message needs to be in the top of mind recall of the customer. Now, bulk and mass content creation, lots of people are just dumping the messages into the business environment because there are so many competitors, and to be remembered by our audience or consumers, we need to have that connect with the consumers persistently. Further, there is another challenge, that is the multiple and competing messages. Now, all these together may lead the consumer to switch over, which shouldn't be happening, and that is the intention and objective of IMC. Now, message continuity is key to brand recall in this era of moment marketing. So we need to keep a continuous connect through various social media or say various platforms, and ensure a brand recall. Now, social media campaigns across platforms must have relevant hashtags to impact the brand recall. Now we come to the fourth concept, that is our complementariness. Now, which means that the message relevance must be in synergy and interlinking with the other elements. In the sense, like IMC elements and messages must complement each other in timing and ease of application. Let's take an example. Now, advertising messages complement the sales promotion activities that the company plans to implement at proper times of execution. Now, to add to this, the modern day elements like the QR codes, the scratch card, the payment links must all synchronize for an effective customer experience or purchase journey. Now, all the four concepts, that is the coherence, the the consistency, the complementariness and continuity, must have the customer as the central point or focus. Now, all this must be done keeping in mind the customer. We then move on to the next set of concepts, that is the 4 E's. Now, when we talk about these 4 E's, we would be mentioning, the concepts are enhancing, effectiveness, efficiency, and the economical, being economic. Now, how does each of these work, and what should IMC take care of? Now, coming to the first one, that is enhancing. Now, the basic aim of IMC is to improve, augment, or say intensify the interest of the consumer, right? The communication with the target audience to identify, to recall, to relate to the product or service or brand or company, occupying a space in their in the prospect's mind through emotional appeals and perceived value enhancement, right? So they have to ensure that it improves over time. Now, let us take the example of Apple computers. Now, the tagline says "Think Different." Now, the "Think Different" campaign, it carried the message that which actually, the buyers celebrate the innovators and non-conformists, aligning the Apple products with creativity and uniqueness. Now, the IMC tools that Apple used are the TV commercials, the print ads, the billboards, and also some keynote events sponsored by Apple. Now, what is the impact? This attempt of IMC on behalf of Apple positioned Apple as a premium, creative, and iconic brand. Now, buyers, the value they get is being enhanced by this experience of purchasing an Apple product. The next is economical. Now, IMC message elements on various platforms or media must be least cost burden on the resources with optimum effectiveness of the message that they deliver, and it must be delivered efficiently in the sense of the reach and the frequency so as to enable the recall. Digital media is comparatively much more economical than the traditional media, and let us see like how it really works. Now, IMC helps in aligning promotions, retail displays, social content, and advertising around a unified value for money theme. Now, IMC also coordinates sales promotions with below the line tools like coupons or offers or say price comparison content. And now, let us take the example of McDonald's value meals campaign. What did they do? They used the following elements in order to convey the message. They used the in-store signage, which says everyday value combos, right? And then in the TV and we were talking about complementary. Now, how the other platforms and elements tapped by IMC are working in sync, and how they impact and how they give a synergistic effect when it comes to the cost factor. Now, TV and radio ads were highlighting the price of the products, particularly the combo and the savings the customers would incur. The social media talked about the time-limited offers, and not just this, the mobile apps offered the coupon and the loyalty points. So when all this work in sync, the customers certainly would be saving some money by acting at the right time to avail the right offers and benefit from the product and brand. Now, if we look at the strategic goal of IMC here, it is to maintain volume and footfall during these competitive or inflationary periods, and how would it result in? So the key takeaway would be like attract the budget conscious customers, and stimulate short-term sales, right? So IMC must ensure that the elements that they tap or the platforms that they use must certainly convey that the customer is also benefited economically. Now, the third concept is our efficient. How is the message efficient? Now, IMC must be able to do things in a right manner to accomplish the marketing objectives, optimizing the time, money, and efforts translated into the competent performance in this highly competitive and digitally connected business environment. IMC demonstrates how the brand simplifies, accelerates, or personalizes the customer's decision making and the purchase journey in order to make this message highly result oriented. Now, if we look at more details of how IMC brings in the efficiency in its actions. Now, IMC helps design seamless multi-channel journeys for the customer, right from the launch of ad and the customer coming across the ad and clicking to reach the landing page and taking an action through the app, and finally the product delivered. This entire journey must be done so efficiently that the customer will have an enriching experience and would appreciate the brand and the company and come back again and again for purchasing the product. Now, IMC reduces the decision fatigue via clear CTAs, demos, and also like the content well explained. IMC promotes frictionless service. We were talking about the contiguity in the 4Cs concepts. So it applies here as well. Now, IMC promotes that frictionless service delivery as a brand differentiator. Now, let us take the example of Domino's. Domino's came up with the campaign, you got 30 minutes and a pizza tracker, right? Now, the TV ads promised speed, and the applications gave the customer an access to the live order tracking, which kept the customers convinced that whatever they have ordered is on its way, and they would soon be having it, and they knew the progress without having that kind of a stress. At the same time, the SMS and the email tell them the order status. They keep updating the customer in case of any delays in the traffic while the product is being delivered. And in the app UX, we can also see the voice ordering facility and also the past orders saved, so that it becomes easy for the customer to repeat an order. Instead of going through the entire process, it just flashes the previous order and you click it, and the order gets immediately executed by taking you to the payment page, and you complete your transaction. Okay. Now we come to the next concept, that is our effectiveness. IMC must proficiently utilize the resources uh, in an optimal manner in order to produce the desired results. Obviously, the product performance or say the functional superiority of the product or service, also the reliability or even the ROI, all of these have to be highly effective, especially in these competitive categories. Now, when it comes to this effectiveness, let us see what role IMC plays. Now, IMC integrates product demos, testimonials, case studies, and also comparative ads, and ensures that all the touch points like website, the ads, or the packaging carry proof of efficiency and efficacy or results. Now, IMC ensures that they highlight the certification, awards, and testimonials, and also expert endorsements in order to keep that consistency in the message and convince the target audience about the brand value they are delivering. Now, let's take the example of Dove. Dove's campaign of real beauty complemented with the clinical results and the IMC elements that carried the message, like the video content wherein the target audience came across real women sharing their testimonials of the experience that they had with the product. The print and out-of-home advertisements talked about the dermatologist approved messages. The influencer campaigns wherein beauty bloggers shared their experience, or say like they were showing before and after use of the product. And through this, Dove's strategic goal was to reinforce what it delivered was real, safe, and effective in its results. Now, the key takeaways here are the IMC focuses on evidence-based storytelling. Okay, to convince customers of the product's effectiveness and its efficacy in the performance. Okay, now we come to the last set of concepts, that is the 4 S's. Now, the 4 S's, they stand for synergistic, synchronistic, symbiotic, and systemic. Systemic. It's not systematic, it is systemic. Okay, synergistic. What do we intend to convey the IMC's intention when we say like IMC has to ensure synergy in its actions. Integration of IMC elements must result in synergistic attainment of marketing objectives by designing the message and delivered through the right integration strategy. Okay. The next is synchronistic. Now, the overflow of information in the digital ecosystem, the challenges, they challenge the IMC's effectiveness because of the multiple sources and the several information loaded onto the customers, target audiences, screens, and the media they access. This has to have a synchrony in the timing, the message, and also the continuity of the message, and thereby demanding the executives to design and master IMC synchronicity to reach the customers or prospects for educating, entertaining, and also experiencing the marketing promises through their purchase journey. The third element is being symbiotic. Now, IMC media, IMC media elements must relate, coordinate, complement in this seamless, in order to give a seamless experience to the consumer. Now, keeping the elements and media uniqueness and independence of each individual element or platform independence, and also its functionality intact. Though they work in synchronicity, complementing each other, they live together, so they have to be having a very symbiotic nature. A QR code connecting to a website, informing and persuading the target customer to act in a certain way, persuade the target audience to act in a certain way, to execute and experience an ecosystem of the business engagement. Now, this is the intention of IMC. And finally, we come to the last concept of the 4 S's, systemic. Now, systemic means being unified, systematic, and planned. Now, IMC needs to establish the customer-centric culture of learning and collaborating, in a data-driven environment, and engage the customer in a holistic process to meet their objective and in fulfilling the customer's need. Okay. Now, we move on to understand. Having understood these concepts, having had a brief on how the various elements of IMC work, let us have a look into the steps in the process of strategic decisions made by the IMC. Okay. Well, the very first decision is to scan the environment to understand the situation or analyze the situation, so that the marketer can plan a foolproof reach to the target audience, conveying the message and persuading them for a desired action. Now, a marketer and his IMC team or agency, if he has engaged an external agency, must understand the market landscape, the competitors, the audience's behavior, and also the media trends. Only then, a proper IMC plan can be made, executed, and realized. Now, in order to emerge successful in meeting the IMC objective, now a situation analysis or environmental scanning is the first step. So what should the IMC do? They need to conduct a SWOT analysis or a PESTLE analysis. SWOT analysis, that is the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat, or the PESTLE analysis to understand the entire business environment, the political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal aspects of the environment, and analyze the competition and also the competitors' messages, the media they use, the channels they use, so that you don't miss out a certain target audience. Now, you need to understand the competitors' channel mix as well when they are attempting to reach the target audience. You also need to monitor the consumer media consumption behavior patterns, like short form video dominance that's happening these days, and you cannot rule it out. You have to be on that platform as well. The influencer trust versus the brand trust also need to be analyzed. Let's take an example here. Now, the consumer a certain consumer electronics company sees that Gen Z buyers spend more time on TikTok or YouTube Shorts rather than the traditional TV. So they also notice increased adoption of the AR filters for their product trials. Now, if you ignore these platforms, possibly you'll be missing out to capture the target audience's attention and miss out on the business opportunity. Now, the second step is to have, to define very clear IMC objectives in order to plan some strategies. Now, IMC must ensure that all chosen elements support measurable outcomes. So what should IMC do? Now, it needs to set smart objectives that align with the overall business strategy. Say suppose brand building versus lead generation or retention. What is that overall business objective? Let's take an example, like say suppose a e-commerce brand sets an IMC objective, something like this: increase the the app installs by 25% in the Q4 while maintaining a CAC below rupees 150. So it's a very specific objective, like increase the app installs. It is measurable as well, and they expect a 25% increase. And when do they want this? By the Q4. And it is also rational because they are expecting to maintain the CAC at below 150. Now this drives all the channel solution, the channel selection as well, and create the design based on these. The third step is identify and segment the target audience. Now that you know the market, now that you also have your own objectives fixed, it is time to understand the audience. IMC's purpose is to recognize differences and preferences of various audiences and meet them with different element mixes in order to have the message reach to the target audience. Now, so what should IMC be doing? Now, they must use first party data, the CRM and social listening to segment audiences. Now, once the audience are segmented, they need to create personas so as to understand, say for example, price sensitive millennials. How do we reach them? How do we plan to target them? Or say like environment conscious Gen Z, or say the B2B decision makers. So who is our audience? So when we create the personas, it becomes much more easier. Let's take an example to understand this better. A fintech startup identifies its audiences, say suppose like young professionals. Now, and how do they understand these young professionals? They will be digital native, responsive to Instagram, say YouTube. So if we launch our ads through this media, probably we'll be reaching these young professionals, or say LinkedIn, right? The second category it would this fintech startup would take is the small business owners. Now, where are these people? They are engaged in the LinkedIn and they would be attending webinars. So we can reach these people, this target audience through these platforms. You can also consider a third category, that is the older investors who prefer to receive the messages through emails or newsletters. Newsletters sent over emails, or possibly the financial newspaper where they gather maximum information. So identifying these and segmenting the target audiences, the third step, must be meticulously done so that we can move on next to select the IMC elements strategically, right? Okay. IMC aims to choose the right, a combination of tools. Now, not just mere channels. It has to ensure the right tools are selected. So what should IMC be doing here? Now, with this objective of choosing the right combination of tools. Now, number one, IMC must identify the key elements in today's ecosystem, right? Say like the paid media or the owned media or the earned media. So which of these? Like the paid media will be having some programmatic ads or search engine marketing. What is it that need to be tapped? And owned media, like their own brand website and mobile apps and blogs. So how much to allocate to each of these? How much effort to be put into each of these tools and platforms? And if we consider the earned media, like influencer endorsements should be preferred, or user-generated content be tapped, or should they go for the traditional public relations? Now, besides this, these days in this digital ecosystem, we also come across the shared media, where social media interactions or community-driven content can be tapped. Now, let us take the example of a sustainable fashion brand would integrate Instagram Reels, podcasts, and also in-store below the line tools. Like say Instagram Reels, they would be going for visual storytelling, and in podcast sponsorships, they can go for the authority building. Now, which gives them the conviction of being an effective and efficient service provider or a product deliverer. And then they can go for in-store QR codes linking to the artificial reality try-ons. Okay, so once you have a QR code, it opens a certain page where you can see yourself wearing that product and how it looks on you, and you can take a call. Now, either offline or online integration of this kind can all be experimented and tried. Now, let's move on to the fifth step, which is basically deciding on the channel integration and sequencing. When we say sequencing, we are actually talking about how long should we be reaching, or how frequently we will be reaching. So the channel integration, the aim of IMC must be to create a cohesive customer journey and avoid any kind of fragmented messaging. There should be continuity, right? So what should IMC be doing here? Now, they need to map the customer journey from awareness to consideration to buying decision or the purchase, and finally the advocacy. Okay. Now, IMC must also determine which element leads and which supports. We were talking about complementary, you remember, I guess? Okay. And also IMC must ensure cross-channel consistency you can say like the visual identity or the tone or the offer, it must be consistent. Let's take an example, like a new electric vehicle launch may tap these different channels. Like for awareness, it would prefer the YouTube prepare a brand film and launch it on the YouTube, and at the same time may have a PR coverage. Well, that would be much more cost effective than a full-fledged advertisement. Now, the next step where it is engagement by the customer, which needs to be interactive, microsite, or say Instagram challenges, wherein the customer would interact, thereby connecting himself for that emotional appeal they earn through this engagement. And the third step in this, for the conversions to take place, a personalized email can be shooted to the target customers, or possibly invited for a test drive and test drive booking through an ad. You can invite them to book a test drive. And finally, the owners can, you can form a community, and the owners would share their testimonials and also post their recommendations or say referral programs. So you would be earning some loyalty. So the new electric vehicle launch brings in a synchronization through the entire customer journey, right from awareness through engagement, through conversion or purchase, and finally the loyalty. Now, this is how it can be planned. Then we move on to the sixth step, which is basically the budget allocation and the resource planning. IMC intends to balance the spends across elements or platforms to maximize the return on investment. Now, with this purpose, what should be the actions of IMC? Now, let us check the various IMC tasks. Now, IMC must use the ROI modeling and the media mix modeling in order to take proper decisions based on their budget capacities. Now, and also keep a flexible opportunity fund for emerging trends. Let's take an example to understand this better. A beverage brand allocates 40% to social ads, 30% to influencer partnerships, 20% to experiential events, and a 10% reserved for real-time trend opportunities. It can be viral memes campaigns or in some kind of, can some meme or user created content. Okay, so we move on to the next, that is the seventh step, which is our development of an integrated strategy, an integrated creative strategy. IMC has to make each element feel like part of one brand strategy. And if it is to be done, what should IMC take care of? It needs to define the central theme or tagline, and based on this, it will adapt creative contextually per channel. No copy paste business here, but then there has to be consistency and coherence while keeping it unique on each platform based on the target audience's nature or say demographics or psychographics. Well, let's take the example of Nike. Nike's campaign, "You Can't Stop Us." Now the TV, they tapped the TV for an emotional storytelling message, and Instagram, where athlete talkovers were floated or posted, and then the TikTok was also tapped, wherein the user-generated split screen challenges were posted, and email, wherein the target audience were sent some personalized workout plans. Okay, let's move on to the 8th step, that is implementation and coordination of the strategic plan. Now, IMC has to avoid any siloed execution by marketing or PR or digital and the sales teams. Now, so what should they do then? IMC must use centralized content creation, or say centralized content calendars, so that there is a synchronicity and contiguity here. So, and they need to, IMC need to deploy project management tools. You can even use some applications in order to help you with this, like the Asana or Trello. These are some of the digitized tools that you can use. And IMC must ensure a real-time communication between media buyers, content creators, and data analysts in order to get this, get the implementation in a effective manner. The next step, which is the measurement and optimization. IMC has to maintain continuous learning in a dynamic ecosystem. So they must define the KPIs for each element. Now, well, KPIs here, it may be the CTR or CAC for the search ads, or say the engagement rate for the social media, the CTR. IMC must use the A or B testing and real-time dashboards in order to ensure that it has optimally used the platform, the channels, and the message is effectively conveyed. IMC also has to reallocate budget quickly based on the performance. You remember where we talked about an opportunity cost which must be allocated. Anytime you get a certain opportunity, you should be able to immediately utilize that. Now let's take an example of a smartphone. During a smartphone launch, a brand finds that TikTok videos outperform the Facebook ads by, say, 3 times. So the budget is shifted mid-campaign to that media. Now the last stage, which is the post-campaign evaluation and future planning. Now the purpose of IMC here is to build a feedback loop to improve the upcoming IMC strategies. So what should they be doing? They need to analyze the return on investment and the brand lift that is generated. They need to document all the best practices so that all the success stories can be repeated. And finally, they need to adjust the future plans for any kinds of trends like the AI-driven personalization, etc. Now, this is what the IMC, this is how the IMC integrates in order to bring in the right message to the right customer at the right time, in the right spirit, and meet their objectives and while satisfying the customer's interest, needs, and expectations. That is for today, and well, I hope I have done some justice, and I also do certainly apologize from my end sometimes if I couldn't have made enough eye contact, since I'm used to more of a classroom kind of an interaction. This sometimes must have dulled the flow, so very sorry for that, but otherwise I hope I have done justice to the subject and helped you guys understand better. And certainly I believe I have brought in some easier concepts onto your reach, besides the material that is shared through your Ignou print manuals. Thank you for all your patience, and thank you for bearing with me. All the best for your exams and completion of the program. Bye-bye.